Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Then what? No weekend report.
We were saying in the Upanishads they don't talk about love, but bhakti means love, right?
Yes. It is actually deeper than that. Bhakti is, well, again, depends on the definition we use, but bhakti or devotion is deeper than just worldly love. How deeper? Because you may love someone, you may love your children, you see, but if a 5-year-old comes and tells you a story, you may not necessarily trust them because they start to make up all the stories at that age. So you may love them more than your own body, you see, your own life, but you may not trust them yet. You see. They may say, I saw Pink Panther in my room yesterday night. You see. So you may not have that trust. You see. Some you may trust, but you may not necessarily love in that way. You see. This one is very honest. You see. You can trust. You can trust them because of their integrity, their honesty, but you may not feel a love for them. You see. But devotion is that which is both. You see. Great love and great trust mixed together is what is called devotion. You see, only to that you can really surrender. You see, you can really let go to that whom you are devoted to. You see. Because just love and just trust may not be enough. So when the sages in India are referring to bhakti, they are speaking of this devotion which is beyond the worldly love and worldly trust. I mean, all of us in relationships may love our partner, but we don't necessarily trust them in everything that they say. In fact, there comes a point in many relationships where you feel like if my partner is saying, then definitely he's got it wrong or she's got it wrong. So this letting go, this surrender, is a letting go of what? When we say let go or surrender, what are we actually surrendering?
The idea which I've been holding on, I mean, any idea.
Holding on to ideas, you see? And why? Why should we let go or surrender?
Because there's a recognition that that idea is, I don't know, it's initially there's suffering, or maybe not, but this, when you hear some word of truth, inside your heart, you've got to recognize that it's the truth. I mean, there's no doubt about it, but you don't know how it's the truth. So when you find through devotion the one who you love, then those words start having a revealing, I guess, what they meant.
Yes. So this revelation, so suppose that all that has happened, you found a true master that you're devoted to. You see? Now the master is also speaking some words. You see, some words are there. So what is the difference between words and the revelation? Because the same words are being heard by everyone. So how is it that some have this revelation and some seem to not have it? words are the same, the pointers are same. Some come to this inner insight, intuitive insight, and some don't.
It feels like the ones that keep going with the mind still are not purely with the master's words, then they still dig you. It feels
So
like it's not revealed.
he says that it feels like some seem to keep going with the mind and not with the words. You see, what is the other way to deal with these words rather than the mind?
Just allow them to do their work, then you don't have to do anything with their message.
She says, allow them to do their work. Allow them to do their work. You don't have to necessarily do anything with them. You see? And she's right, because what can happen is that the words of the master can become just clogged up in our intellect, and maybe more clogged up than when we started. They can clog up our ideas of truths deeply in our intellect, and we may become more stuck than before. So the words of the master, when they are heard uninterpreted in the most natural way, they will lead to this intuitive insight, this guidance that is provided through this instrument called Ananta, and through all the instruments, beautiful instruments that have appeared in this world, will lead us to a greater insight than our mind can ever fathom. You see? So, the trust that is needed is to trust this insight, you see, more than we trust our mind, we trust the intellect. Because we have confused the place of true knowing, of true knowledge, and we have taken that to be our heads. You see? And whatever we filled up in our heads, we feel like that is true. You might have had the opposite idea a few weeks ago, and you may be completely convinced that that is true. You may have a fresh idea today in your heads, and you may feel like this is true. You see? But what is happening is not primarily that your ideas are wrong, it is primarily that you're going to the wrong place for true knowledge. You see? You will never have the perfect idea or perfect knowledge in your head. So, where do we go to for true knowledge? It is already there. See? That intuitive insight. What is intuition? That knowing for which you don't have to think or perceive. You see? So that surrender is needed to let go of these ideas that we rely on as the source of truth. You see? As if they are the source of truth. We feel like our head is the source of truth, but actually it isn't. Our own intuition, our own inner knowing. Knows a truth which is untranslatable in our head. What do you think about that? You see, this is what she was talking about earlier, that if you take the words that you hear in satsang and think about them, then that is not contemplation according to me. You see? Many in the world, of course, maybe the word also means that, but the way I use it, or we use it in satsang, you see, to contemplate is inner looking. You see? So, if I say to you, don't go to your head for the truth. If you say, okay, yes, because the intellect is like this and the mind has all these wrong ideas and I have, you see, so you may call that contemplation. You see? If I say, don't go to your heads, and you're just, you can't even say look, you just, you see, there's a inner insight, inner perception, let's use the term temporarily. You see? So the words of satsang are guiding you to that. There is no real how to. We can't really create a how to manual. You see? But maybe we can create a how not to. How not to manual can be created. You see? Now I say, don't go to your head. You see? Don't go to any interpretation. Don't go to any even perception. So this is the how not to. Now, what reveals itself to you? So your smartness cannot do it. All your scriptural knowledge cannot do it. All your fantastic ideas cannot do it. And no spiritual experience or perception of any experience can do it. Now, if you don't refer to these, what is revealing itself to you? So, can we decommit? Can we, because we've committed to the old way of knowing for so long, you see? I'm not even saying can we commit now to intuitive insight. Can we at least commit to let go of this peddler of the false? Or are we trying to use even this coming to truth so that this one in our heads, the voice in our heads, you think may be finally happy? If whatever you take to be true has an opposite, it is not the truth that we are speaking of. If it can be structured in the way of statement, then but, then another statement, then either ends of those statements are what we are speaking of. Yes, yes, uh, I know I am awareness, but you see, what about when I go into the marketplace? Then neither are true. Now, with the conclusion, what's the conclusion means? Now, what you're taking to be true. If you don't go to your heads, then what is true? If you don't go to your heads, are you lost?
I feel like saying that if I don't go to my head, I recognize that I'm ever present.
I recognize that I am ever present. It's not bad. What else you want? And to not go to the head means that doesn't mean that it has to be empty. Just that it is a no parking zone. Don't give your thoughts a chair to sit on. And this can be deeply, in a sense, may even feel like it's deeply destructive to a spiritual seeker. You see? Because the spiritual seekers build a house there, forget keeping a chair. You see? And even this may be becoming part of the furniture. You see? Because in spite of my saying this over and over again, our conditioning may be so deep that we still may not understand what the whole game is, while even continuing to think that we are winning at this game. Is it? We still may not realize what this game is. Maybe especially while we think that we are winning at it. Because I say don't give your thoughts a chair to sit on. You use that as a new, dining table in your conceptual house. That is the bane of the spiritual seeker, especially in this form of satsang. They feel like one day ultimately they'll come to the right knowledge in their heads. So that which is meant to chop off your head itself may be being used to construct it. So we may not even realize how much false knowledge we still rely on. You see, we might still make notions between yes, in the real world versus satsang. You see, these kind of ideas. But existence Your existence is much simpler than that. It showed up on its own, it will dance on its own, and it will vanish on its own. You see? The only thing is that you've taken some part of the dance. You see, not even the whole dance. You've taken some part of the dance and called it yours. You see, that's called individualization or separation. But it is just not true. We take the subtitles to be the truths. The mental narrative to be the truths. And you may even make the concept that the mental narrative is not true part of your mental narrative. So many super advanced seekers are still climbing the wrong tree. Because we may miss what this whole game is about. Because knowledge is not what you think it is. And whatever you may think it is not. What do you don't think about it? What do you think about it? What are you not thinking about it? That's a better question. What do you not think about this? Jyoti ma'am?
Haven't thought about it.
Give me some time to think. What do you not think about the truth is the truth. It doesn't mean you come up with a new thought which is the opposite of some thought you had earlier, because that would still be a thought. What do you not think about the truth? I better be silent is also a thought.
So can you be in charge or a leader or anything, worldly term for success?
Why not? You could be. Nothing gets taken from you. You see? Nothing gets taken from you. But it's not a way to attain leadership skills or something. You see? In the sense, it's like the master cheat code to life. Let me just become free and then I'll make money, I'll become a leader. Whichever way he wants to play out, you see, it can play out.
It's like these two opposite.
Yeah.
The most simple truth.
Yeah.
It's completely simple.
Yeah.
And then the
But
other-
okay, let me ask you. So, the two opposites, this and this. You see, this but this. No? On both ends there is no truth.
Well, the one that is silent and simple and it just feels as more truth than the other one who is chattering.
What I'm saying is that if there's a concept on this side and a concept on those side, you see, at best the concept on this side is a pointer, you see, which is pointing to that, as you say, pointing to that silence. You see, but many times we even take that to be like a true statement or something. You see, and we feel like we must hang on to this, but that is not true also.
No, it's not possible.
Exactly.
But what is more like a problem here is somehow like the seeing, living, of just peaceful. This, and on the other side, the energies, the feelings, it becomes like a big, huge chaos. So both sides are playing like extreme roles.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So this is the, and you'll say you say this is what you always say. But why is chaos in the realm of perception the lack of peace?
I'm also asking that.
It is not. You see, chaos in the realm of perception is not lack of peace. It can be chaos. Everybody, all of you could start running, jumping around suddenly. You see, the body could have pain, pleasure, one arm in pain, one arm in pleasure. You see, it's possible these things happen. And then some emotion may come, some grief may be coming, but on the other side, some like excitement may be coming. You see, like all this may start jumping around. Maybe. But in all this jumping around, is that, do I lose my peace? Just by the virtue of all this jumping around, do I lose my peace? I mean, you. Do you lose your peace just in the jumping around of all of these layers? What is the peace that we are talking about? If by peace you mean the absence of the jumping around, you see, then that is different. The peace that I am speaking of is included in the presence of this jumping around. So if everything starts to jump, you see, do I lose my peace? How do I lose my peace?
It feels like something else takes over.
Takes over what?
The life,
Yeah, but
the
that is what it
seeing.
means. No? The jumping around means life only. If every layer of your life is jumping, all this opposites everywhere. You see? And then how do you lose your peace?
We don't lose it. It's never like you actually looking at it. You see the jumping. I mean, you're
Yeah.
aware of jumping.
Yeah.
You know it's a jumping.
Yes.
It's like not like you would lose anything.
Yeah.
It's not the losing.
Yes.
it's just disturbing.
How is it disturbing? In the sense, it would be disturbing if something can jump at you.
Uh,
You
it
see?
feels like that.
But what can jump at you? Tell me one perception, big or small, that can jump at you. If something could, then I would lose my, it would disturb me. But I looked at all the layers of perception and I found in no layer anything can come and attack me. It only jumps on its spot. We had this exercise in school, jumping on the spot. So all my layers of existence, they only, whatever jumps there, only jumps in that spot. So unless you start by taking yourself to be something that exists in the layer of your perception, you see, now you cannot be attacked or you cannot be disturbed. And when I say you cannot be disturbed, I'm not speaking of the body. And all these opposites of better and worse, good and bad, are just in our head. What makes peace better than chaos? If you ask my kids, they don't have any term like peace, they only have boring. Yeah, I'm so peaceful today. It's just, I'm so bored. And when there's chaos, such a fun day. You see?
I'm referring to something else.
Yeah? Yeah.
I'm referring to something else in this case.
Whatever that something else may be, you see, if it is in the realm of opposites, then it is not what I'm saying. You know, I may be referring to something else. You see? The layer at which something has to be solved or resolved, you see, is not what I'm speaking of. Of opposites is only in the realm of perception.
Even knowing that,
But don't know it here.
yes, I mean, knowing it, it still happens that pull in that direction.
Not possible, you see, because only if you know it perceptually or conceptually is there a push and pull. You see? So rely on that which is deeper than that knowing, and then tell me how to pull or push. Don't rely on that knowing, whatever subtle layer it may be on, doesn't matter. You see? Rely on the deeper insight. Now, what push or pull is there? You see? So fundamentally, it comes down to the same question, isn't it? What are we taking to be true? And in fact, what are we taking to be valuable? You see? What do you take to be valuable? If you take peace to be valuable, then peace will be attacked. Whatever you take to be valuable can be attacked. You see? Even if you say, I take only the self to be valuable, you see, then you may make a version of the self, you see, which then can be attacked. Even if in your head the version of the self says, that which cannot be attacked will still be attacked.
Yeah, it's like conforming yourself again and again and again.
Yeah.
No, nothing can change it. Nothing can disturb it. But at the same time, you're actually conforming that by the opposite.
Yeah.
It seems like that.
Okay. But when we say confirming, are we talking about the conceptual conclusion? You see, we confirm, we check. Many times it can happen like this: we check, and clear as day, the intuitive insight is very clear. You see, but more than that, we rely on what that translates into, which means that this cannot be touched, it cannot be changed. You see, something like that, and then we put that concept into battle with everything else.
It's more like it's confirmed by itself.
No, that's not the point. The point is that the confirming, you see, is just this simple insight. You see, now what can happen is that there can be a translation of that confirmation, which could be saying, yes, this cannot be attacked. You see, but that concept can very well be attacked. So we don't have to set that concept into war. You see, so leave your insight as insight. Many times when we say confirming, that trouble can be there, that we feel like till I have the conceptual confirmation of the true insight that I have, till then that is not confirmation. But actually it is that confirmation which is messing us up. You realize what I'm saying? Or you're confirming something else at the same time. I can repeat. It's clear what I'm saying? So, so our conceptual translation of our inner insight is not the confirmation that I'm talking about.
Yeah, this.
So if there is no conceptual confirmation of the insight, how will it be attacked? It won't have an opposite. It's not at war with anything.
It's like it wants to be confirmed, but there's nothing to confirm.
But it's not that there is nothing to confirm.
But not in this way.
Exactly.
At least not anymore, because it run out
Not in this
so
way.
many times in this way.
So not in this way. Then how will it be attacked? Who's able to follow what I'm saying? You see, because many times we say that you just have to confirm this. You see? In Satsang also I'm saying confirm this for yourself. And you may be thinking that your confirmation is to translate the intuitive insight into some confirmation which sounds scriptural. You see? That I am the self, or the self cannot be hurt, all of this conceptual understanding. You see? But that conceptual understanding is to send the soldiers into war. You see? If you don't send any soldiers into the war, how will there be a war anyway? You see? But we may feel like, but that is the end goal, that is the game. So this is very much the theme of today's satsang. What is the game that we are playing? What is the confirmation that we are looking for?
In the middle of the chaos and the dancing of perception, this intuitive knowledge and the confirmation is there.
Yes.
When you are asking where it lost when you are in that state.
Yes.
But here the feeling is the precondition to see that this is just dancing. This dancing should not be there. I mean,
This is
to start peacefully.
yes. So don't put this precondition, because pre to the precondition, you are there. You see? So you are not prisoner to this precondition.
It's not like that I am putting that condition, but in that state, when I try to see, when I try to hear the satsang, for example, when I try to inquire what is happening, all I want, all I want is this whatever is dancing should be resolved or.
But satsang is not for that.
So
He's taking the wrong medicine for the wrong disease.
no, in that state, so
He's
when
taking
you
the wrong medicine for the wrong disease, no? You say, I go digging in the ground to find tomatoes. It is not for that.
not understood.
If you want to eat tomato, will you go digging in the ground? So, to come to satsang, to come to the truth so that you can have something in your life is not what satsang is for.
No, no, that was not my question was like to add to what she was asking.
Yeah.
I felt it in the weekend when I was in that state because weekdays we will be on track. Go to office, come to house. Weekends we don't have anything to do. So all these things come.
Yes, 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 exactly.
Unless when I went to bed Sunday evening, Sunday night, then it was fixed, okay, tomorrow I have to go to office, there is no other, all programs are cancelled. Then I was able to listen to satsang. Because 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, mind is full of plans.
Yes, yeah.
So in that state, you are asking, you are still there, the peace and the awareness is still there. But in that state, it's difficult to say that it's there.
Don't have to say anything. This is exactly what we were speaking of. We feel like we must be able to conclude something and then hang on to that as if it is the truth. But of course, that conclusion is sending the soldier into war. No? The minute you conclude something, you're sending that soldier into war. Does your intuitive insight need to be concluded? Is it shouting, saying, this is how it is? See, it doesn't have any such proclamation. So if you don't send the soldier into war, how will it fight? How will it struggle? How will it be attacked or need to be defended? If you don't have a position, it is not possible to be attacked. And you may be speaking individually, you may be speaking universally, it doesn't matter.
So even now it is here, you are saying, even now.
What is it?
The intuitive insight.
Yes.
Because physically I am not so comfortable and mentally also I am thinking,
Exactly.
say something, he is saying something,
Correct.
there is a clash.
Correct.
Now I want to say where is it?
Yeah. What do you not think of it is where it is. What you think about it is where it is not. So what do you not think about it? Huh? Did you not think? It's okay. Can't do it, you see, because it already is that way.
So what's the game then? When you were saying
This is the
slowly.
game. To come to what you don't think about it. In fact, to come to that which you cannot think about it.
So,
Huh?
so when you said.
Are you going to tell me some thoughts in response?
No, I'm just.
What do you not think about it?
Everything is going to be a thought, Father.
What do you not think about it?
I think about everything.
What do you not think about the truth? What do you not think about it? You must be not thinking something.
Usually when you think of something which you haven't got.
Yes. That's called desire.
Eh, that is the main thought, thinking. And this is not something you have to get. It's
Yes.
there.
Yes.
It's gotten.
So, that which is known without having to think or perceive. What you know without having to think or perceive. That which you know without having to think or perceive cannot ever be not known, even in the sleep state. Hmm? Yes? Sleep state? Life and death cannot touch it. Whatever may appear or disappear makes no difference. This is good. I can say, I'm tired of hearing what you think about it. I just now want to know what you don't think about it.
You just made a new one.
That's what you think? You look so. Just like. At least it should become clear that this is the game. This is the game. It is not to come to some mental understanding. It is to let go of our selfishness, our righteousness, our specialness.
these levels.
Confusion is at the levels, yes. At which level are you?
I don't know.
Till you
Little
place
bit,
yourself,
sometimes a little bit.
yes, but till you place yourself in those levels, you see, there can be no attack. Till you place yourself as something in those levels, you cannot be attacked or confused.
The problem is that I don't feel I would be placing myself there.
Yeah.
But the energy or the pull of life or
Then you have to be really tiny.
circumstance. Yes.
If some circumstance or some
And then it's like there
energy or
is
some
confusion of
life can pull and push you, then you must be a tiny object. As a magnet can pull you to. What are you in this? You see, then that is already placing yourself. You see, I am not placing myself there. You see, but in that statement, if you take that to be true, then you already place yourself there as an objective way, in an objective way.
Yep, yep. Confusion.
The only resolution to confusion is to come to what you truly are. You see? All confusion is really about who you are. It is not about anything else, ever. If you make yourself objective in some way, then you will obviously be in the. It will feel like the pushes and pulls in the realm of perception apply to your reality. It is not us, it is many of us feel like the truth is a wave that we can ride. You see? Like have a big surfboard and get on the wave of this truth, you see, and then that's it, you see. You cannot ride this wave. And if you try to ride this wave, then the ups and downs of this wave can seem like they're too much. Don't own the truth. You see? Don't own the truth. Don't own anything at all. Now, what can be attacked? What confusion can there be? You don't own anything at all. In any layer of your existence. Just open. To own something be attacked. If you have no house, how will it be set on fire? If you have no pieces in this chess game, how will you lose? And all our chess pieces are everything that we think we are right about. And the king is which one? You see, the I thought. Everything else is just defending this one. Any reference to the I. Everything else, every other thought is just in defense to this one. what you're defending doesn't exist in reality. Just let go. Just let go. Everything, everything. Let's catch up with the chat a bit. One said Zen. Next one says, Dear Ananta, please could you pray for my mother that she find the truth. Please lead her to the light of love and peace and joy, to the real self. Her name is Ananta Sizer. Anamata. She left her body on Friday or Thursday. Please pray for me and my brother too, for accept everything as it is and stay with clarity. Thank you very much. I have also sent a picture of my mother to you on Messenger. May the light of my Master's grace bring this one, Anamata, to her complete recognition of the self, the truths, the unchanging, beyond life and death, beyond the comings and goings of this world. If that is her highest desire, and may this be her highest desire. May all those who love her be blessed with this recognition. May this event lead all of us to a deeper insight, that which remains untouched in the coming and going of this life. May she be held in the Sadguru's grace. And may all of us find our home Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Then next one says, Father, I am only now aware of such a subtle defense playing, yes, a pretending of being the self. It was seen before, but not wanted to be seen. A disguise of silence and peace, but only now being open to it. So good to be live here again. Good to have you, my dear. Very good, very good. Father, I am only now aware of such a subtle defense playing, yes. It is a very sneaky voice, and usually it is after some true insight has been gained, some true insight, maybe even quite steadily attained, then this voice can try to make something out of that, make something out of our recognition of the self, tries to make something out of nothing, literally. And then it can be a bit can become a bit stiff, maybe even like a little competitive or something like that. You see. It can start to play out a bit like this. You see. So it's good to just see that this is the same guy, and just be open, just let it come and go. Then next one says, the attack seems very intimate at times, maybe some subtle position being held. Send no soldier into this war. No one says, I don't think, therefore I am. Every time anyone mentions that, actually I have to feel like I have to jump in defense of Descartes also. Because Descartes also is not implying that their being is like a product of their thinking. He was just saying that to perceive even my doubting thoughts, you see, that even if I doubt everything, there must be these doubting thoughts which are perceived. Therefore, I infer that I must exist even to perceive these. But many times, many of us feel like what he was saying is that his amness is a product of his thinking, which is not what he was really implying. Like this, I don't think, therefore I am.
What can you believe to be true? Because everything, like the mind calls it good and bad.
Yes.
The good and bad, everything is passing.
Yes.
Like you cannot rely
Yes.
on.
Yes.
And thought wants to go to that
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
It's always chasing for the good.
Yes.
But even that's going to come and go.
Yes. Exactly. He says, what can we rely on? You see, because every belief, every thought is caught in this construct of good and bad, right and wrong, but everything is coming and going. You see? So if you want something better, will that stay? No, nothing will stay. You see? So that's why we're saying that at level of thought and intellect, you see, if we rely that on that to be the source of truth, then that cannot be. Because what is the truth? As the sages have said, that which does not come and go. So to go to the mind for the timeless is just silliness. You see, it's a practice silliness. And because it is well practiced, it can seem like that is the only method we have. You see? Because it is so well conditioned. You can feel like that is the only place to go to find the truth. But it is just not there. So if you go digging into the mind, you will never find tomatoes. Where to find the tomatoes? All you have to do is not dig. What can be simpler? Huh? Just stop digging for a moment. And don't judge, don't interpret what you find. Even if you're thinking, but my affliction is something else. It is only that. Just keep moving. Don't become still.
Catching is everywhere.
Catch. Where should I leave you? Where should I not catch?
Just the tendency of the mind to get to a place where the knowing has been made into memory.
Yes, exactly.
And then you get stuck there.
Yes.
Every kind of trick.
Yes.
My God.
Exactly.
And then you're going to your memory.
Right.
How stupid it is. Oh God.
I'm not saying you to use it, but I agree completely. I agree.
Fresh here now.
Fresh
and
God.
empty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fresh.
this was there. Digging.
Instead of digging in the memory, true.
It's like some kind of a reference
Yes.
on the journey.
Yes.
So you pick up the safest point of reference.
Yes.
But
What you think is the safest. at least.
nothing there anymore.
Yes. Don't need any reference. See? And actually, sometimes it is not just about safety, it is about specialness. We may not realize it. See? Sometimes it's not just about safety, it's also, it feels like, but that was the fulfillment of my whole life's desire to find the self.
Yeah, could be anything. Could be anything.
Could be anything. You see? Like that awakening which I had 3 years ago was the fulfillment of my life's desire. You see? Why not right now? Are you awake now? You see? Why you have to refer to some previous awakening? You see? Because it just makes a reference point, any sort of reference point to find some meaning somewhere in this life which is so beyond these trivial ideas of meaning and meaninglessness. What is coming as offers of a meaning? You see? Are all con jobs. Life is not so small that you can define it. You can say that this is the meaning of life. Basically, it is your mind's attempt to get a handle on this unfathomable dance. You're looking at a dance, all think like crazy stuff is happening, and you're not able to place it, you see, but you paid 10,000 rupees to buy the ticket. You see? So then something will be like, you see, we'll want to conclude, oh, this must be like contemporary dance. Or is this a variation of what are the kids or pop and lock, and is this like a salsa and pop and lock combination? This you're watching something. I don't even
It's
know.
most interesting.
So this is like, this is exactly that attempt to make like meaning. You see, this dance is happening. You see, and our minds cannot rest unless we say this is what it is. You see, but it's nothing. It's not, neither of that. You see, does that make it meaningless? No, because some of you will also go to that dance and say this is just a waste of time. This is pointless. Like life has no meaning, or this dance has no meaning. I just wasted my money. But that is also to give it meaning. You see, but the dance doesn't stop. You can't box it in. You see, you can't box it in. You see, the minute you start to conclude, oh, this dance is just love, it's full love, then the dance comes and slap you on. You're like, oh, I must have done something wrong. You see? And then you say, life is just so oppressive and so destructive and so nihilistic, it's so meaningless. It's just like full of love. You see? It's like the minute you start to conclude, it starts showing you all its different flavors. You see? But is there a need to conclude? Exactly. Open and empty. You see? Not concluding anything at all. So wanting life to be this way or that way, wanting yourself to be this way or that way, you see, it's just a mental game. It has nothing to do with reality. So just stop playing mind games. You see? Stop playing mind games. Don't think and don't perceive, and tell me what you find. Or let's say put it in a different way, because that will confuse everyone. Don't rely on any thinking or any perception, and tell me what you find. What do you find? Huh? You're the one that is looking. You see? You're the one that is looking. Anything that can be looked at, can it affect this one? What do you know when you know nothing? Now I feel like more prepared to say it. Don't be still. Rather say, don't be still, be fresh. Because many times stillness has become stillness. It's just like. Hmm? Trying to be fresh? Don't try, just be. Full Yoda style. Be natural. Or do you not think? Can we all go from thinking about the truth to not thinking about the truth? I mean, to start thinking about other things. And get to the truth by not thinking about it. If it is the purpose of our life, let it be the purpose of our life. You see? But get it by not thinking. What do you think? So we'll have some Bollywood thought.
What will be like the pictures then? The pictures you post, then what will be right there? If you have them there?
If you don't write anything, how will I have fun? What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it all mean? What does meaning mean? Huh? What does meaning mean? Just wonder. What is the meaning of meaning?
Coming to some conclusion.
That this is what it is. Coming to a conclusion. Seems like a very human problem to me. Yeah, that's why man search for meaning. But in that small box of life having to have this meaning or life being meaningless, you see, that small box is just a tiny aspect of life. And life is not so small that it can be contained there. Life will always surprise us. It has a special trait also. When you conclude that this is what it means, it will show you another color, another flavor, another side. So don't try to contain it in your box. Just let it go. Do you have to know how to live? Do we have to know how to live? And what did the ones tell us, the old ones? They said, but if you don't know how to live, then you'll just live like animals. But actually, right now, they seem better off. Without all these thousands of separations and conflicts and tiny boxes killing each other based on lines on maps. The most evolved sound like a big joke to me. I feel like it's only the humans which can look at a piece of paper and say, this is me and mine. These ones I have to hate. Based on some lines on some piece of paper. I only love these ones because they're on my side of mine. See?
Seems like those you were talking about scoring
Yeah.
the question papers.
Yeah.
Now it seems like those could be like measuring skill or movement, but we've taken it or mistaken it as you.
Yes.
I am bad, good, yes.
Yeah.
More of a
Exactly.
skill.
Exactly. Well, as you say this, I'm reminded of one thing that most of my growing up here, I'm quite a crazy one growing up. So I used to constantly have this thing that if one day this question comes in a quiz, you should be able to answer it. You should know this because what if someday somebody asks you, and that quiz is never going to happen. It's like the most random thing. You just feel like, do I know this? What do I know? Like that. You're collecting all this information for some like final like sound like that interrogation at the pearly gates or something. What was the capital of Timbuktu? And you won't be let into heaven if you can't answer. You just feel like there's one big test coming somewhere. You see? I don't know whether it's just Indian children or all of us, but I had this constant thing that you're going to be tested on this. You better know this. You're going to be tested on this sometime. So somewhere it is not built into our conditions to accumulate this kind of mental constructs, and then this concept of scoring and winning and getting better and these kind of ideas.
Well-read books.
Yeah. Wanted to be very well read. I enjoyed reading. That was not the thing, but this idea of there's a test coming or a quiz coming and you have to look good in the it's common or uncommon. It's the first time I'm exposing this actually to any. Just he said that the scoring thing, and I constantly felt growing up that I'm being scored on how much I knew. Is it? How much I knew. That's what I'm saying. Playing the wrong game. I come into spirituality also in the same way. How much do I know? But I know more than she knows. I know more than he knows. And that can feel like I'm better off. What are the practices I know? What are the scriptures I've read? It can all become part of like our pool of accumulated spiritual knowledge.
He led a full life.
He led a full life and died.
He
They led a full life or a half life. Just going to be dead at the end. Just trying to give meaning to the
fill it with
ephemeral.
activities.
Even the treatment, like you can see in movies and things like this, right? That somebody on their dying deathbed said, "I'm fine because I led a full life."
Yeah.
Is it? This kind of idea. So being able to finally give some meaning to this dance in all its craziness and say, okay, our job is to lead it fully. Is it? And then some traditional Indian sage may come and say, but your job is to renounce all of it fully. Is it? And another will have another meaning that they've given. Another will have another meaning that you see? And we feel the whole game is to be able to one day figure out what does it all mean.
This idle mind is a devil's workshop.
Yeah.
So keep on doing things, never sit still.
Okay. The traditional notion.
Spare
All
the rod
around
and
what?
sword. Yeah,
All around the notion of trying to give this meaning to this dance. You see? The minute you conclude that's a break dance. Start doing the salsa. And you say, this is, I know this, what I figured now, this is salsa movement. Then they say, oh, this is Kathak. This, we feel like we come to Satsang and we get the final, this is what it is. I am the self and all is myself. See? Aham Brahman Asmi. Finally, I figured it out. That's Guruji. A pickpocket comes and picks your pocket. Will you tell him? But Aham Brahman Asmi. It's yours. It's yours as much as it is. Only in the movies. Yeah, I can tell you that if something was able to decipher this dance and to define it and say this is what it is, you see, I would not be so happy about that. Because the taste of this dance independent of our concepts of it. It's so broad, it's so wide, it's got all the contrasts. Mhm. So it is only out of our fear, out of our fear of meeting it empty and naked, that we feel like we have to meet it through the filter of our conceptual meaning making. Thank you, love you too. Then one says, I like that, don't be still, be fresh. Yes. And one says, I too had such a feeling. Somebody asks, then I should be able to convince the other how inquiry is better than any other practice. All of us can relate to this. All of us can relate to this kind of. Because what is it about? It's more, less, well, at least here it was less about convincing the other one and more about convincing myself that I'm on the right path, I'm doing the right thing, I've finally come to the right masters. And I found Maharaj and Bhagwan. And what is the best part to get to nowhere? Best way to sit where you're sitting right now. What is the best way? What is the best way to sit exactly where you're sitting right now?
Sure.
Can't show, but there is one.
Seems asking that question is getting into trouble. I'm already sitting.
Yes, exactly.
I just start thinking what's up.
Confusing methods to
Yeah,
break us out of.
correct.
No?
Let's find
In the
the.
book you're using.
Yes, in a way. To snap you out of this because the mind is so tricky, it gets you like into some groove. Just let go. None of us is right in anything that we are thinking. Let's just get over it and forget about it. You keep going, but this is what it means. Or this is what it actually means. It just means that nothing means anything. You see, even these like meaning making in negative terms, in negations. What if you didn't have to understand anything? What if you haven't understood anything? That's good news or bad? As if you haven't understood anything.
Sad part is understood everything according to the world.
Yeah.
Now we realize understood
This is
nothing.
the thing. Too much investment has gone into that.
Too much.
You see? But how much more we want to invest because already so much has gone.
The fear is if I don't understand, I may get stuck into something eternally. That's the fear.
I may get stuck into something eternally.
So I don't understand when I am.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, get you stuck in the truth eternally. Because nothing else will be eternal. What will survive death? What can you get stuck in that will still be there in your sleep state?
Can you repeat that?
What will still be there that you could be stuck in, that will still be there in your sleep state? Why eternally? Just tonight. What can you stick onto yourself here, or what can you go and stick onto that will last even in your sleep state? Nothing. Then how will you be stuck? What are you taking yourself to be in that picture? I don't want to be stuck in something. I may get stuck again, maybe, and again we are stuck. In that way we are stuck. From our fear. If we stop presuming that we understand English language, that solves a lot of problems. Yeah. Well, any language. I said one time, no? Suppose you woke up one day, you remember? You woke up one day and your mind started speaking Russian or something. You see, for those who are non-Russian speakers, how would you even complain? What would you say? How would you react to that? You woke up this morning and it seemed like somebody changed the audio channel, audio track on this movie, and the mind started speaking in a language which you couldn't understand. Then, what would you say? How would you even complain about what afflicts you? What is the problem you have? You can't even say, I'm not understanding. You won't even understand that you're not understanding.
See, that can be a great relief.
Great. Even that you can't say. Wow, such a relief. How would you say in Russian? Such a relief. You definitely can't ask why. Why?
It's like you have a big mute inside.
Different. The pre-Manunasha stage is when the language changes. Bhagwan said, no? You can literally get away with anything after saying Bhagwan said. Just before Manunasha, for what?
Perception.
The mind will start speaking in a language that you don't understand. Bhagwan said.
When I have a question.
Get in big trouble. Okay, maybe Bhagwan did not say, okay. What is the question? Which language is the question?
Question would they
Suppose you didn't understand the question.
It's true.
Like even the conclusion that it's true. Like you didn't understand any of it.
I'm going back.
Even that, I'm going back. No Hindi, no English, no Punjabi, no Marathi, no Swiss. How many languages you know? No Hare Krishna language.
No, here, there's another one here.
Not that language, not English, that's English. Huh? What did you lose if the language of your mind changed?
Knowledge.
What would you?
Worldly knowledge.
Yeah. So what would you lose as a result of losing that knowledge? Would you lose the waking state? You lose the waking state. Would the waking state come to a halt? Everything comes to a statue. If you stop deriving meanings in our heads, what if to derive these meanings in our head was to actually lose the true meaning? What if what you don't think about it is the true meaning, and what you think about it is meaningless? What do you think? Huh? You think that could be a good idea? Time to end this crazy satsang? Knowledge does not necessarily depend only on language. Well, there's one knowledge that doesn't depend on language. Well, it's too cold. Already you have a cold. There's a fever. I keep thinking there's somebody sitting there. I have a question. When you tell me, I was like, yeah.
So he is asking question and he is answering. Showing.
This- Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki
Jai. Sadguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Guru Kripa Kevalam.